The conversation pivots around humanity's responsibility for our energy systems. Chris Hadfield compares our reliance on fossil fuels to bacteria thriving in a niche, highlighting both their utility and harm.
We're like bacteria in a corner, just found a little niche that will support our life. So much so that our entire system as far as energy is based on burning things.
He emphasizes gasoline's alluring energy potential, acknowledging its severe consequences.
A 5-gallon pail of gasoline is an amazingly enabling thing. You can stick it in your car and drive hundreds of miles. But it has such consequences.
The host envisions future generations questioning our reliance on fossil fuels.
When we look back, hopefully, in a couple hundred years, we will go, what were we thinking? It's really hard for people to change too once we have a pattern that we follow.
Hadfield highlights the difficulty in altering entrenched systems, noting that scarcity might drive change, requiring planning and foresight.
Once you've built a structure, it's real hard to change. We'll be weaned off fossil fuels, but they've got to get a lot more scarce before we'll bother. Just human nature.
The conversation shifts to future technologies. Hadfield discusses the uncertainty in predicting advances like fusion energy.
You're asking me to predict future physics inventions. When experts say it's 50 years until we can do it, who knows?
Discussion on nuclear waste reduction shows optimism toward minimizing impacts, though Hadfield points out trade-offs.
Nuclear waste is a problem, but fossil fuel waste is huge and neither is perfect. None of it's for free. We have to find the best trade-off.
The conversation underscores the importance of balancing trade-offs, urging collaboration toward a sustainable future for all. The conversation journeys through the intricacies of future Mars missions, focusing on the challenges and inventive solutions required to conquer them. Chris Hadfield, a seasoned astronaut, engages with the host on these profound topics.
If something failed on the way to Mars, you could do the same thing, but it would take a year.
Hadfield highlights a critical aspect. The long duration of travel to Mars necessitates solving problems ahead of time. The recent findings by the Curiosity rover bring hope with the discovery of significant water resources on Mars.
Curiosity discovered just in the last few weeks that in every cubic foot of dirt on Mars, there's a quart of water. So there's oceans of water. Water is hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen and debris. Hydrogen and oxygen makes fuel. Hydrogen and oxygen makes water.
The potential of turning water into fuel and oxygen signifies a leap forward, yet concerns about energy sources remain.
We need a power source. You can't have a solar-powered bulldozer. You need a power source.
What about sustainable resources like food?
We don't know. We're trying to figure all that out.
The complexities of landing a spacecraft on Mars due to its tricky atmosphere are also discussed. It's neither thick enough for parachutes, nor thin enough to ignore.
Mars has just the wrong atmosphere. It's not thick enough to use a parachute in, but it's not thin enough that you can ignore it. Curiosity, the way they came up with the solution to that was just phenomenal.
Watching the footage of the rover and the images that it sent back was almost surreal. Gives us a lot better understanding of what's normal and what we can expect on Earth.
The conversation veers toward the human tendency to see patterns such as faces in Mars images, connecting it with broader cognitive behaviors.
Did you ever pay any attention to the face on Mars or any of that craziness before? That's all fun. There's faces all over. We naturally look for faces.
I have a friend who believes in the face on Mars. I said, I'm going to show you something, man. Look at that rock. That rock is just made. That's just a rock amongst a pile of rocks.
It's always easier to believe something than it is to understand it.
This dialogue encapsulates the immense challenges and whimsical moments intertwined in human exploration, emphasizing the blend of curiosity and intellect that propels us into the cosmos. Chris Hadfield shares his thoughts about the potential for life on Mars and how it might change what we understand about life itself.
Mars could have had life.
The universe's mysteries fascinate Chris Hadfield and the host as they delve into concepts like randomness, black holes, and dark matter, elements that remain largely unknown. Current science might seem primitive to future generations as discovery continues.
The universe itself seems to be this incredibly complex thing that constantly is complexifying from the Big Bang until now.
The host entertains the idea that black holes might harbor new universes, introducing theories from modern astrophysicists. Hadfield speaks on experiments aboard the space station to unravel these cosmic enigmas.
On the top of the space station, we have an experiment put there by a Nobel Prize-winning physicist named Sam Tink. It's a huge magnet collecting subatomic particles of the universe.
We have no idea, and we're just trying to figure it out. That's another word for magic.
We're the most informed humans ever, but someday they'll make fun of us for not knowing what Clark-gluon plasma was.
Turning to the tangible marvel of the space shuttle, Hadfield shares his first-hand experience with its capabilities as both awe-inspiring and complex.
My first 2 flights were on shuttles. I flew Atlantis and then Endeavour. The shuttle is the most capable flying machine humans have ever built. It could carry 40,000 to 50,000 pounds and then bring it back, landing gently on a runway.
The discussion unveils the stark contrast between everyday urban life and the vastness of the universe, highlighting the beauty hidden above us. The host and guest dive into how light pollution obstructs our view of the cosmos.
I've always been fascinated by space, but light pollution really drives me nuts. I was at the Keck Observatory, and it was life-changing. You could see the stars like nowhere else.
I've been near there. As an F-18 pilot, flying high and turning off all cockpit lights allowed me to adjust my eyes to the stars. You see the texture of space, the Milky Way shining like a band of milk across the sky.
They reflect on how urban life obscures these cosmic wonders, leading to a disconnect between humans and the universe.
How can we get people to notice this universe around them? It seems like seeing it would make a huge difference.
It's tough. People are indoor creatures surrounded by city lights. We live on this thin crust, a tiny habitable atmosphere. Most of it is within the first 3 miles of altitude. Beyond 15,000 feet, it's barely livable.
The conversation turns to humanity's fragile existence on Earth's surface, a thin layer of crust and air that supports life.
We think this tiny sliver of air in Earth is guaranteed. It's like living on the top of a chilled porridge pot. We act as if we're invincible, but it's a delicate balance.
The interplay of awe and responsibility is clear. By recognizing our place in the cosmos, there's a call to prioritize sustainable living and protect our precious view of the universe. The discussion centers on humanity's place in the cosmos and the pressing challenges we face on Earth. The host and guest explore our extensive reliance on fossil fuels, weighing the balance between technological progress and environmental consequences.
And we feed more people now than we ever have, right? But how do we do it in the future? How do we get better at it? I'm not sure.
The host mentions renewable energy and technological growth, expressing optimism about finding sustainable solutions.
Yeah, there's so many variables, obviously, but I'm always very excited when I see something like this that is like, oh, my faith in the crazy humans has been restored.
Grappling with the reliance on fossil fuels, the host highlights the societal norms that accept traffic-related fatalities.
The fossil fuel thing to me is a weird one because obviously I enjoy it. We use it. It's so important for almost everything we do, but obviously this is going to create a problem someday.
The guest draws attention to the environmental impact of daily automobile and coal use, highlighting the accepted norms of such consequences.
Right. Everything else, and of course the space shuttle's retired, but we only flew the space shuttle 135 times. I mean, you couldn't even measure compared to everything else, the pollution. We expect that. We say that's okay. It's our right to kill 42,000 people so we have the freedom to drive our cars around wherever we want. Kind of an interesting level of accepted disaster.
Turning to the possibility of extraterrestrial life, the host expresses curiosity.
Here I have to ask you about these guys. Aliens. That little alien guy we got there. When you're up there, when you're in space, do you ponder the possibility?
The guest offers a perspective on humanity's place in the universe, urging a broader vision that transcends egocentric views.
With every invention that's come since then, we've been able to prove more and more conclusively just how far from the center of the universe we are. And also how huge the universe is. To think that with an unlimited number of chances that we are the only life in the universe, to me, is just a natural extension of thinking that we're the center of the universe. But it's also, I think, arrogant and egotistical to think that we're so fascinating and we're so special that somehow weird, big, black-eyed monsters with no hair on their bodies are sneaking around staring at us because we are so special.
The conversation delves into alien narratives rooted in human perception, encouraging listeners to ponder how early life events might influence collective beliefs, especially in the realm of alien abduction tales.
This face with a white mask on it, featureless. That might be the origin of these experiences, and it's ridiculous to think circumcision is forgotten just because babies don't have a reference point.
The host suggests that early traumatic experiences, such as circumcision, could fuel beliefs in alien encounters, reflecting deeper fears and traumas.
I think it comes from a fear of being alone and being mortal. Convincing ourselves there's other life out there offers comfort.
Belief in extraterrestrial life may soothe existential fears, comforting those who dread loneliness and mortality.
Imagine if we found a planet with people like humans from the 1300s. It sounds absurd, but wouldn't that just make us the most wonderful freak show?
A humorous twist arises with comparisons of humanity to a freak show, imagining Earth as a cosmic curiosity.
If aliens do exist, their behavior wouldn't match science fiction. Statistically, there's life out there. We're not that special.
Discussing extraterrestrial life, the guest notes that the universe likely harbors other life forms, dismissing human centrality as egotistical and emphasizing the implausibility of typical science fiction portrayals.
There's 7 billion of us, like rats on a sinking ship. We're advanced yet hypocritical, so easily fooled. It's like Earth is the Tijuana of space.
The host humorously suggests Earth might be viewed as a spectacle, a chaotic blend of human brilliance and folly, drawing parallels to a busy, unruly tourist destination. The conversation unfolds around the captivating beauty of Earth as seen from space and the impact such experiences have on our perspectives. The guest, an experienced astronaut, describes the astonishing sights he witnessed.
The world is really weird to look at, and fascinating to look at. I was out on a spacewalk going through the southern lights, Aurora Australis, coming up underneath my feet for 1,000 miles. It's beautiful. It doesn't look real. Mostly what you see in pictures is green, but in reality, it's got red, orange, and yellow coming out the top. You can't believe it's real.
The guest's vivid depiction challenges the audience to appreciate the extraordinary wonders of our planet, rather than succumbing to speculative beliefs about aliens.
It's amazing to see. That's way cooler than some dork in a flying saucer. To me, the world is fascinating and unknown and interesting enough without inventing little green men.
The host then draws parallels between belief systems and how they often form around collective identities, whether in technology or alien enthusiasts.
There's a weird clan thing that human beings have. BlackBerry versus iPad, and the people that believe in aliens, they all stick together. It becomes a part of their culture.
The conversation highlights the guest's unique perspective, promoting deeper reflection on what truly constitutes the extraordinary. The host expresses gratitude for the guest's insights and contributions.
Thank you very much for doing this. Thank you very much for being you and for writing this book, An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth.
As the dialogue wraps up, the host encourages the audience to engage with the guest's work, ensuring that his reflections reach a broader audience. Chris Hadfield shares his experiences of spending 166 days aboard the space station, discussing the profound effects of weightlessness on the human body.
It's when I sit on my dock and watch the space station go over. It's really hard to rationalize because I know I was up there and I can remember all the details.
Chris explains that while he was not in space for the longest duration, he experienced significant transformations, noting changes in muscle and bone density.
Big effects, short term, huge. Your cardiovascular system changes, your heart gets smaller, you start losing your skeleton. Your balance system completely shuts down.
The absence of gravity leads to dramatic changes. Bone density decreases, muscles adapt differently, and even calluses shift from the bottom to the top of feet.
You lose the calluses on the bottom of your feet and you build up calluses on the top. I lost about 8% of the bone across my hips.
Recovery on Earth can be challenging. Running normally took Chris months, while bones required even longer to restore.
It took about 4 months before I could run normally again. But the bone takes the longest recovery.
Chris explains how the body begins shedding calcium immediately in space, highlighting the importance of a rigorous exercise routine to counteract these effects.
The first time you take a leak in space, your urine is full of calcium and minerals. Your body starts to shed your skeleton right away. We can almost beat it now through heavy exercise.
Exercise becomes pivotal, necessitating 2 hours of daily physical activity to maintain health in space.
2 hours a day, every day. We do 1 hour of cardiovascular and 1 hour of resistive every single day.
Despite previous unsuccessful attempts, such as the Russian penguin suit, it's clear that intense physical activity is essential for well-being in space.
The Russians even tried a suit they call a penguin suit, full of elastics. But you need to actually heavily force your body to exercise. If you do that, then you can stay in shape forever.
The dynamics of spacecraft like the Soyuz and Space Shuttle highlight their exceptional adaptability. Chris Hadfield contrasts these vehicles with keen insights into their unique purposes and designs.
The Soyuz is designed to take 3 people and a tiny bit of gear up to the space station, dock, stay there for half a year or longer as their lifeboat, and then at the end of time get back in and come back home again. That's the Soyuz's purpose.
He describes the Soyuz as compact and purpose-built, serving as a lifeboat. Meanwhile, the shuttle exhibits versatility, handling heavy payloads efficiently.
The 2 of them are magnificent vehicles, but built for way different purposes and both very carefully evolved to do what they do exquisitely well.
Chris goes on to depict the powerful experience of reaching orbit, emphasizing the intense acceleration and G-forces both vehicles endure.
The rocket ships take you straight up to get you above the air, and that takes about 2 minutes going straight up. Then, for the next 6 minutes, it's like a long liquid drive. Heavy, steady, pushing you faster and faster.
When discussing G-forces, Chris notes distinct differences. The shuttle mitigates stress with throttle moderation, while Soyuz encounters higher, sometimes extreme forces.
The shuttle's about 3G, but the Soyuz is about 4, or 4.5. If you're a 200-pounder, you're up around, 800, 900 pounds.
Yet the Soyuz design helps withstand these intense conditions, demonstrating its remarkable engineering and ensuring astronaut survival during emergencies.
In a Soyuz, we're actually laying on our back, so the blood doesn't drain out of your head. It just gets kind of pushed to the back of your body. So therefore, you can survive it.
The conversation dives into the intricate world of astronaut preparation and the incredible adaptability required for space missions. Chris Hadfield shares how astronauts are not mere passengers but active participants, particularly during critical abort scenarios.
And you practice those like crazy. You get to a certain point, then you would land in North Africa or South France or in Spain. We're not along for the ride.
Astronauts must be prepared for technical hiccups, as automated systems sometimes require manual intervention. This adaptability is a testament to human resilience and parallels evolutionary survival skills.
For the vast majority of shuttle flights and Soyuz flights, it's automated. But sometimes it's not on the way uphill. We've had engines fail, and you just start spinning the vehicle like a pure meteorite.
The discussion moves to the physical demands of re-entering Earth's atmosphere, particularly after prolonged weightlessness. The disorienting process challenges even the most prepared astronauts, as their bodies must recalibrate to Earth's gravity.
You pull about 8 or 9G on a ballistic entry, and that's pretty tough after 6 months of weightlessness. It's awful. You're so nauseous and dizzy.
Despite the potential dangers, there's an undeniable thrill to the ride, leading to unexpected emotional responses.
A big part of you is involved with that. But another part of you is just loving the ride so much. And my cheeks were hurting. I realized because this big stupid smile was on my face so much.
The joy, however, is balanced by a critical focus on technical responsibilities. Every moment requires precision and awareness of the potential for failure.
You're focusing on the job because there's a million things that can fail. One of the mantras of astronauts is there is no problem so bad that you can't make it worse. We think about that all the time.
Managing the spacecraft involves constant readiness for action. Astronauts must always be prepared for emergencies, whether on the Soyuz or the shuttle.
If everything works perfectly, we're just watching. And same in the shuttle. Hopefully, don't have to do anything, but sometimes things don't go right. And then you got a bunch of things you can do, various shutdowns and aborts.
This dual focus on enjoyment and duty epitomizes the astronaut experience during missions. From control panels to calculated landing alternatives, they are immersed in the energetic interplay of thrill. The discussion dives into the powerful role misinformation plays in shaping beliefs. Much like religious dogma, the host shares skepticism about the credibility of alien contact evidence, humorously likening believers to religious fanatics.
I agree with you, though, that I find the evidence of us being contacted by aliens incredibly uncompelling, and I felt like I was talking to religious fanatics. It's just like talking to a religious fanatic.
This analogy highlights how certain ideas, once rooted, become dogmatic truths for some. The guest supports this by recounting a satirical article that falsely accused them of disruptive behavior, underscoring how easily misinformation spreads.
A satire paper in Canada published a thing about what I did in a movie theater. Thousands of people believed it. And that thinking is so easily prevalent.
They agree that the problem lies in the abundance of unvetted information readily available, which complicates discerning fact from fiction.
That's pervasive right across all cultures, including what people think about alien abduction. Anybody can get information at any time, but it's not vetted.
We have brains and reason and experience and logic and use it.
From their perspective, recognizing what isn't known is key. Pursuing personal interests without imposing them on others allows for a more fulfilling experience in societal harmony.
To me, that's all great. Everybody should be doing that. Live and let live, but don't spend all of those efforts in taking your particular set of interests and trying to force them on other people.
This approach fosters personal growth and a tolerance that embraces diversity, much needed in today's flood of opinions.
You know, your mantra, why would it be so important? It's just like a religion.
The conversation explores the evolution of space travel, focusing on technological advancements crucial for long-duration missions. Chris Hadfield highlights key innovations in astronaut health, particularly the shift from iRead to AREAD, essential for Mars journeys.
We started out with a resistive exercise device, then the improved iRead, and now ARED, so we can return to Earth healthy.
Hadfield emphasizes that missions to Mars are a significant leap beyond current capabilities akin to early seafaring explorations.
Mars is really that next-level trip. It's like sailing up and down the coast now, but we need to cross the body of water.
These missions will require solutions to environmental challenges like radiation, gravity, and sustainability. Hadfield humorously mentions the design of a reliable space toilet as an immediate task, alongside creating a closed environmental system.
We're sailing up and down the coast of the world, figuring out osteoporosis, radiation, psychology, and making a toilet that works.
Sounds like astronaut training should include a plumber's license.
The journey to Mars is not only a physical test, but a profound psychological shift. Communication delays mean astronauts will face deep isolation, transforming their identities.
She said, "Earth said we're supposed to do this next." It was a real bell ringer. They'll be Martians, not Earthlings. Pretty quick in their heads.
Ultimately, Hadfield stresses the importance of planning for these missions. The psychological and logistical hurdles are vast, heralding a new era in space exploration.